Hi guys, I am a big fan of those like brass or metal hares / rabbits that you often see in shops. And I don't know if you remember, but I did a Hobbycraft haul a little while ago, an Easter themed one, and I showed you a polystyrene rabbit that I picked up. It wasn't that expensive, it was no more than £5 if I remember rightly, and I thought that I'd have a little go and try and replicate that sort of look. Now if you follow my blog, and you've done so for a while, about this time last year I did this same technique that I'm doing on this rabbit. I did on a Heidi Swapp marquee letter, and I'll leave the link below so you can check that out, because actually the marquee letter looks a lot miles better than my rabbit does, even though I'm still pleased with my rabbit. So the first thing I do with my rabbit is I cover it in a really thick, good layer of gesso, not because I want my my surface to be primed, but because I have found that in the past, when doing things with polystyrene, that the texture of the polystyrene shows through quite a lot, and I didn't want that, so I'm giving it a good coating just to get rid of that texture, and putting some kind of like texture of the brush in it is absolutely fine. Like that gives it that kind of scratched metallic kind of look, which you'll see I replicate later on. And unfortunately I was a bit too vigorous in the way that I was holding my bunny, and his ear did come off. I haven't come up with a suitable fix yet. I really need to go and buy some super glue, which I don't have any of, or find my glue gun, but I just used a paper clip and put it in the end of the ear, and then put it into the head. It doesn't look great, which is a shame. Would have been, the bunny would have looked so much better if the ear hadn't have come off, but you know, what can you do? Vigorous painting and all that. But yes, I'll try and find some decent glue or my glue gun and hold it down, because my PVA glue just wasn't cutting it. So I used the Heidi Swapp marquee lettering kit. I believe it's called the Rust, and I went over the bunny with the darkest brown colour first, and I used a really stiff like bristle brush and kind of scratched the paint on. So there's loads of brush marks and loads of sort of scratch marks to give it that kind of texture, and a little bit of the white does peek through in some places. It's patchy, but that's kind of like the texture that you want for it. And then I used the lighter colour, and originally I was going to use a sponge, but then I changed my mind and went through the stiff brush again. So I'm just doing brush strokes in different directions in the lighter brown, just to give it again that kind of scratchy, rusty look. What we're aiming for here, or what I was aiming for, is something that looks like it was a rusty piece of metal. And so I just kind of keep working at it. I was going backwards and forwards with the darker colour and the lighter colour, and just kind of keep scratching it on and backwards and forwards until I got like kind of the look that I wanted in that place. And now after that was all done and dried, I then used an ink pad, and I brushed that over, which you'll see, and that kind of gives it like that metallic-y look, and just adds like another different dimension to the overall thing. It kind of gives it more of that metallic-y, rusty look. As I say, if you check out my blog post on the marquee letter, that's a lot better, and it shows it a lot better. I don't know whether I just, after my ear incident, I just wasn't feeling it after that, I don't know, but the marquee letter is definitely much better, so go and check that out. I do really like the way it looks though. I am pleased with it, and once I can secure that ear better, I'm sure it will look a whole lot nicer. It's just that, mainly just that ear that's really bugging me at the moment, rather than the painting technique. But I've got it out in my front room. I had it out over Easter. I've got it in my front room, part of my spring decor, and I'm liking how it coordinates and goes with my room. So I'm not like, totally unhappy with it, but the ear is what it is. So I hope you enjoyed this little technique, a little tutorial, mini show art, and yeah, see you later. Bye.